Hey guys, Crave here, and I just want to share some impressions for the Devillian beta. Now, it's one of the games I spent my time with during the weekend, and it's also a Korean game, but unlike Blade, where it took them about 4 years to transition into the West, this one's about a year old and now going through a similar beta phase. It's an action RPG game with MMO elements mixed in. Now, if you played games like Diablo or PoE, it won't be any different. It has the generally isometric view and it involves taking down hordes of mobs and is pretty much a clickfest. Now, the MMO elements come into play when you check out the chat window where you see everyone speaking their mind or basically just talking shit. And you can see some of them visually also, some of the other player characters in major city hubs. Now, the other MMO elements are also evident in group activities like in dungeons and in PvP play. Now, the PvP action can even involve 20 versus 20 maps, but it's something I still need to check out if I can get into any other beta weekends. Now, from what I gather, PvP plays an important role in the end game. The character creation process is very straightforward in Devillian. It's strange to see a game that's still gender-locked in this day and age, but I guess that does make it easier for devs to visually apply certain armor and weapons. Now, you've got 4 classes in the Berserker class, which is pretty much your dual-wield warrior. You also have an Evoker, which by the class name denotes that it is a mage or a spellcasting class. You also have your Sneaky and Fast Attack class in the form of the Shadow Hunter, which is what I spent most of my time with. And, of course, you have your last range class in the form of the Cannoneer. Right after the class selection screen, you now have options to further customize your character with the usual options, or you can also go with some basic presets. Just like Blade and Soul, it gives you a good feel of how your character will look in the long term. Now, a notable feature about Devillian is that your choice in class is not limited to that. Sure, you have options to upgrade your gear and skills as with most other games in similar nature, but what we have to be aware of is that classes have individual Devillian or Devil forms. Now, when I say that, just think of Goku and the other DBC characters that have basically an ascended form. Now, of course, you don't get the yellow hair and all that. What you instead get is a darker form of your class with a new set of abilities that makes it easier to plow through mobs and enemy bosses. As I mentioned, the Devillian form grants a new set of skills, so it's not just a simple boost to your already existing abilities. Now, it works on a charge mechanic where you have to build up resources through the standard combat in your base form. Once you have enough resources, you can quickly ascend or switch into your Devillian form and get your temporary powers, which is really noticeable as it starts to look like you're basically hot knife cutting through butter. Now, the general gameplay as you level is pretty standard. Well, you quest, you read through short dialogues, you get kills, occasionally work some minor game mechanic, and you turn in your quest for XP and loot. Now, it's not strange, mainly because ARPGs are known for simple quests, and that's normal because the focus is on the action. Now, for Devillian, somehow, and it could just be me, it feels that they've been oversimplified. I mean, more often than not, the questing area is just really close by to the quest giver. It's almost like the mobs or things you have to pick up are just beside the NPC who handed out the task. Now, sometimes, of course, there are NPCs that are further away, so in case that happens, you have the option to use your return skill, which still functions like a town portal spell. Now, your portal spell is on, just in case that portal spell is on cooldown, you can also use the auto run feature, which is sort of just like an autopilot action. Your character simply moves to the NPC you have to talk to. So I think a similar game that has this is Black Desert. I also believe that's coming into the West. It has that feature, but I could be confusing it with another game, so don't quote me on that. Now, one thing about the auto run feature is that it might mean running along a path filled with mobs. So, basically just watch out if you decide to, get a soda while you're gaming, or I don't know, answer the phone or do something else for maybe a minute or two. And then you get back to your gaming station and you find out your character's dead. Now, the thing about that is even if you clear a path initially on your way to wherever and you just want to get back to the NPC, the spawn timers for mobs are so short that they just pop back up that fast. It might be due to the MMO nature of the game so that other players don't have to sit around and wait for kill requirements in their own quest to spawn. But yeah, it's it's a bit risky using the auto run feature, especially if you're just going in a straight direction and back. Other standard features in the game include the usual merchants for trading, and of course the basic being able to salvage some gear to get some of the resources required for enchanting. Now you also have the storage NPC to keep all the loot you don't want to get rid of, and of course, since this is a free-to-play game, you have your cash shop. Now this is an area of the game where there might be some concern. Of course, you have your usual cosmetic items, and that's given in free games. However, I think I may have also noticed some items that have combat enhancements and may even have a chance, you can actually purchase some bags there with a chance to drop some legendary items. Now, of course, I could be blowing the power of these legendary items out of proportion, but when you use the word legendary, it seems pretty powerful to me. Now, one of the things I don't like about free-to-play models is that there is a risk of getting into a pay-to-win mechanic. Now, I do understand that there is really no such thing as a free game. If you don't ever plan to open up your wallet, someone else has to basically cover the upkeep costs. Now, when it comes to free-to-play games, you are either pay to win or not. There's should be no gray area about it. I mean, the latter, being completely not pay to win is always preferred. But it would always, I do understand that it will always be more inviting for people with more cash on hand to have basically an edge over other people. I mean, you would rather get an item that gives you an edge in combat compared to, simply a cosmetic item. Now, whether or not I continue to play this game, I'm hoping the cash shop will be beneficial for all gamers, or fair for all gamers, and that this beta for Western markets removes anything that provides an edge in combat. I don't think Western markets really appreciate it. I don't appreciate it when someone has a monetary advantage which translate into combat advantage inside the game. But then again, I'm not sure what the effect of those items are, or whether even developers will keep those items as permanent things on the cash shop. Again, testing the effect is limited since the items aren't even free on its current beta state. Now, maybe the effects for any of the enhancements will be minimal, like I mentioned, minimal to no effect. Maybe it just provides an edge for you to quickly just kill the mobs that you have to go through while leveling. Again, we can't determine that, or it could be that the legendary items is just a label for it, just to make it sound awesome when in fact it's not. Now, still, of course, let's just focus on the game itself. It's pretty okay. It's pretty okay so far, to be honest. It's not. I didn't experience any difficulties while leveling or playing through the game. It felt, pretty ARPG-ish. I mean, it's your standard ARPG. Although, yeah, mainly because of the questing and how easy it is to simply just move from zone to zone, NPC to NPC, it does have a more generic feel to it compared to the other isometric or ARPGs I've played. Now, if you're interested in Devillian, make sure to sign up for the beta on their main site and check out the game for yourself. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.